In a word, no, they're not. Actually, we did a study of 100 asset managers across the US, UK and Europe earlier this year. And it was actually quite shocking what we found, that the vast majority of managers are not using video, they're not embracing educational content, they're not thinking about websites and how they're integrated with social media, they're not doing that whole mix. And also they're not studying their metrics, they're not looking at what works and what doesn't in terms of content, and then thinking about how to do it better. Is social media even relevant? This is such a controversial question to say to any asset management clients we meet, because the answer is invariably, well, we don't want to engage with millennials, we don't want to talk about our services on Snapchat, but it's actually not about just talking to millennials. Everyone is on social media, and more importantly, all the asset managers that we looked at were on social media. So it's not a question of is social media relevant, because they're already on it. It's how to use social media. In brief, asset managers are obsessed with Twitter. 60% post to Twitter on a daily basis, but that only has 23% engagement, likes and shares with investors. On the other side of the coin, only 9% of asset managers are on YouTube, but that has 58% engagement with investors. Why? You have a video on your website, you link it to YouTube, Google ranks YouTube very highly, so stick that on your website and you already have a higher ranking on Google on key search terms, which means more investors see your content. Surprisingly, asset managers aren't using video. They're behind in the rest of the world, not only behind the consumer industry, but the rest of the financial services industry. So only 9% of asset managers use video at all, anywhere on their website, and only 4% of asset managers have video integrated throughout their website. That's not just hidden in the fund section, it's on the homepage, about us, throughout. That's what they should be doing. Educational content, and this is a huge moot point among asset managers. Many view market commentary, having a fund manager talk about their strategy to video, as educational. It's not. You need to talk about why that strategy is important from a macroeconomic angle. Keep in mind that sophisticated investors are not going to know every aspect of investment. They may not know what a collateralized loan obligation is. So you've got to explain why your strategy is important, so the investor feels like they're getting something, not just being sold to. Top of the class comes in this order: BNP Paribas, JP Morgan, Fidelity Investments and BlackRock. Now these are all large players, but it's not all about money. Smaller managers can do as well as them by dealing with their content in a clever way. Final thoughts. What do fund managers need to do to get ahead of the game on content management? Well, first off, they need to embrace educational content. They need to be aware that video is king. Use it to your advantage. They also need to be aware that they need to be integrated. Use social media. Use your website to your advantage. And finally, look at the metrics. Study what's working and what isn't, and then come up with a strategy that works for you. A catch cry we use here at Peregrine all the time is think IMC, integrated marketing communications, and you will eventually win.